Sir, I must inform you that the world is about to end, and the only person who can do anything about it is you. By subbing to this channel right now, I am Bowser, and we are back with another cast. This time we have Cass going up against Grubby. Grubby with the Chinese, Cass with the feared French here on Mountain Pass. These are both Starcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 pro players that we, or at least I, have been watching for a very long time, and I'm very excited to see this here game. Cass, a player I've not really seen in the AoE 4 scene so far, picking the French, the universally recognized best civilization. Well, some people say the Mongols are better, and Grubby coming in with the Chinese, a civilization formerly considered one of the weakest, and is now making somewhat of a comeback. More and more people are discovering it for themselves, the strength that comes with the castle age, with the clock tower sprinkles being boosted out with an imperial official, and just generally the very strong boom. The Viper loves it, and if the Viper loves it, we love it. We see both players starting out with their scouts going around the map, and we see Cass going for the usual gold. This is going to be a fast feudal age, probably fast knights, so we will see how Grubby deals with that. We of course would love to see him deal with it well. We always love to see the defense against the French knights work out, so that we can take some notes and learn from it ourselves. He's opting for a gold himself. Sometimes the Chinese player will go for a mill together with a lumber camp, accruing those taxes early on and then age up solely with those taxes. The early wood for Grubby here also tells me that he might go for an early barracks to defend the knights with some early spearmen. This is of course pre-patch, so the spearman buff is not in yet. I'll have to wait and see how strong that will be. Chinese worker going across the map here, finding the gold. Some sneaky strats by Grubby. What was his plan here? Maybe build a tower next to the gold, out of sight of the villages. I mean, the scout has found him, and now this is a little bit awkward here for the worker, who was found out and will probably eventually go down to the scout. He sniped the sheep down here. Very nice, very good start. At least get something for his trouble, am I right? We all love our sheepies, and we all hate to see them go down in the middle of nowhere. Now the Chinese scout comes in, trying to protect that worker and scout team up on the French scout. We have of course seen mostly Mongol players though go for a tower near the gold early on to deny the gold. Without the gold, of course, the French player cannot build knights early on, but enough gold has already been mined to at least get the age up. He doesn't have enough gold saved up though yet for even a single knight. He's pulling some workers on his own, some early skirmishes here. Very untypical, very interesting aggression here. And of course Grubby was banking on the fact that this tower is unlikely to be scouted, but Cass really on top of it all. In the meantime, in Grubby's base, he's going for a mill now. He's been getting some of that gold, and if we switch perspectives real quick, we can see that Grubby already has accrued enough gold to age up. He's now going for the food as well. Probably gonna age up with the Barbican of the Sun somewhere here in front, covering the deer. In the meantime, this worker still being chased around. Half that worker and half that scout teaming up to kill other half that scout. The worker actually goes down, and now Grubby places down his Barbican right in here, cutting off the closest path. This of course leaves the northern path open for knights to come in here, and his main base a little bit undefended with the Barbican closer here. He would have kept his workers working on these berries and on the deer, protected more easily, but up front, up here, of course he will block the shortest route and might force the knights to, you know, be pulled back hastily, take some damage, and then take the long way around to the north. A lot of unclaimed sheep here in the center. This is a Chinese scout. He's gonna bring back some of those sheepies. We do love the sheeps, especially when we're forced to already mine some berries, which we really don't want. We want the sheepies. And yeah, it's looking like the game is normalizing a little bit from here. Grubby on 16 workers versus Cass's 20 though. Cass got a little bit housed, not a biggie though. No worker was blocked from that, and he's immediately not getting out this knight. He's immediately lining up 4 scouts, and now we know why he has so many on the gold, because he was going for that professional scouting upgrade right away to secure the deer for his base, kill them off far away, bring them back home where they're safe, and where his workers are very protected and he can really enjoy that very strong boosted food source in the security of his TC. And we see Grubby going for an early wall off in the middle at this little hole here. That's not closed, Grubby. Gonna need a little bit more here. And to the very north, also constructing that single palisade. There is a French scout here trying to prevent this. Trying to maybe body block the wall going up a little bit. Is being fended off. I think he can probably build this right now, but he's he's locking out his own sheep. Not the sheep, boys. Oh, and this wall is complete. The only trouble is that that it's actually not complete. Up here, we still have the Chinese player taking the berries instead of the sheepies, guiding more onto the gold as well now. If we switch perspectives again to see the Chinese resources, maybe we'll get a better idea of what he's doing. He has gone for the survival techniques, not the professional scouting, because he's getting some meat from the deer here straight away. Doesn't even have to carry them up to his TC. Now he notices, puts down the rest of the palisade, and that should prevent some early night rest. But that's not what the French player was going for here anyway. He's now going up to some stone. 7 workers will get that stone super fast. But let's take a quick look. Oh no, he's actually looking very good on woods. He's been gathering a lot with 5-6 workers, and it looks like this will line up really nicely for him with the stone farm here for a second TC as Kaz goes into that boom phase. And of course the French with their worker production bonus enjoy a long game as well. Ooh, ran out of sheepies, but he has the mill already constructed, so he's safe. Plus, any time now he'll bring back the deer, right? Or did he lock? Did he lock all the scouts on the wrong side? Where are the French scouts right now? Am I blind? Yeah, sadly isn't too helpful. He's locked on the wrong side! Oh no, he can't use this. Did he get the upgrade? The upgrade finished and all of his scouts are locked out and cannot actually provide food for him, forcing Kaz to go on to the berries despite him getting the early upgrade and getting out 3 scouts early on. And yeah, now he places down his tech and TC, still booming with the faster worker production. He should be ahead in workers by quite a bit. Let's check. Yes, already 7 workers ahead. That's massive right there. And actually, this gate might go down. There isn't really any unit coming up to defend it. There it is. 1 stable boosted by an Imperial official. This has become pretty standard since the Light Horsemen, they aren't really great at anything. But they're also not super sucky at most things. If they face straight up spearmen, they'll just get annihilated. But against knights, heavy infantry, which from the French is admittedly not a danger, and archers, they do just fine. And if you manage to gather up more resources and maybe just save some resources by only having to have a single stable, you can make a competitive force of light horsemen that is then really quick and can shut down harassment and a frontal push if you get a number superiority. In the meantime, on the French side for Cass, we already have the second TC up. On the Chinese side, if we quickly switch views again, we see a lot of gold. Like a lot of gold. What is he planning to do with that? The wall, meanwhile, has been broken. He's coming out here with his light horseman, looking for that knight, and he's gonna find it. And I think 5-on-1, that's a win for the light horseman right there. And this knight is not gonna have an easy time escaping, like they usually do, just running away. And yeah, that definitely makes the light horseman a potent counter opposed to the spearmen. Grubby still producing workers and imperial officials. Of course, producing additional imperial officials will throw him further behind in the worker game, where he's now almost 10 workers down. What is this? An outpost in the middle of the berries. An archery range now going up as well, but that's not really what you want against the light horseman. The archery range, of course, the standard thing to do for the French. Then you get your knights out. Usually the response to the knight is spearmen, and then you get your archers out to counter the spearmen, and then your knights just run over everything, yes? And yeah, this time not gonna work out though, with the light horseman already out on the map, now chasing around actually the single knight that's out. And yeah, now he's got, yeah, there's the deer. Now he's bringing back the deer with his scouts, but he's losing some workers, and those actually costly losses so early in the game. 2 workers hurts quite a bit actually. And yeah, boosting the food here for Grubby. I was wondering, is Grubby gonna go for a fast castle age? Because that's really what a lot of Chinese players have been doing, getting to that clock tower, lose the light horseman here, And then just boosting out a ton of the clock tower springles from the clock tower with an Imperial official boosting it. Grubby now went off gold completely, overmined a little bit, maybe overestimated his need for the gold, now going hard into food, but still getting a lot of wood as well. I'm a little bit confused as to what is going on here, because you don't really need this amount of wood if you just want to tech up, and yeah, there we go. And if you want to build a TC, you're gonna need some stone. But there, he switches now, he's made up his mind. 6 workers going on there together with an Imperial official. Already boosting the building here now. And that's a pretty random wall right there. Alright. Knights rolling around the map, some light horsemen. It's actually amazing how much pressure he's applying with these formerly 5 light horsemen scooting around, forcing out towers, killing a worker here and there. That's just great, and especially if you think about it from that perspective. Usually the French player is the one bullying around the other player with these knights swooping in, forcing you to lose some mining time, pull your workers off, maybe kill one here and there, you know, make towers everywhere. That's costly, it adds up. And this time it adds up for the French player who has to build up towers, who is forced to be on the defensive. But of course, the French player is still comfortable. Only 2 knights against early aggression, no other units coming out, and there's the guild hall now coming out for that age free. If we switch to Grubby's perspective, oh no, we're actually on Grubby's perspective, and there we go. He has what he needs for the astronomical clock tower, and there it comes. Both players now getting out some farms. Yeah, a little bit more on the Chinese side for now. But finds a wolf, kills the bitey infantry. Yeah, looking like a good setup for both. Kind of what we expect maybe from Mountain Pass if none of the players decides to wall in. Often we see very long games, drawn out games, late games. Unless one of the players doesn't want to let it get to that and does a feudal all in with some rams. But we didn't see that here, so we are happy to go into a long game between these 2 greats of Starcraft and Warcraft. And now AoE for Light Horsemen once more skirting down here, killing a wolf on the way, finding the knights, trying to burn down the wall. 5 against 2, I don't know how that would go, but 5 against 3, I'm pretty sure that's pretty good for the knights, especially since they will regenerate the health. They can fight a little bit, take some health off the horsemen, then retreat and just heal up, while the horsemen will not heal up. Actually, Grubby targeting a single one here, which is about to go down. Castle Age has been reached by the French player. Let's take a quick look at the ecos. 62 workers for the French player against the 39 of the Chinese player Grubby here. A lot of deer and sheep saved up here. Very nice food source for the French player, who went up with the guild hall. I've seen more and more players do this. Initially, people would always go up with the institute to get tech for the abilitier. But the guild hall seems to get more and more popular nowadays for that resource boost. He's trying to get some of the scouts, maybe to prevent further deer from reaching the TC, but these knights are now chasing around the light horsemen. I'm not sure they're gonna get that scout. Actually, I'm fairly sure it's gonna survive. In the meantime, on Grubby's side, he's starting to get some springles, and knowing Grubby, he'll probably go... Oh, there's the second TC, by the way. He'll probably go for a monastery and start collecting those relics around the map. He loves the relics, he loves most of all the Delhi playstyle, and I think, and the HRE. And I mean, you can't love the HRE and Delhi without loving the relics. Putting up a stone wall behind his wood wall. Very interesting. Wants to be really safe and defensive. Maybe this is an indicator that he will go for, yes! Oh no, there's the monastery. Very cool. And that is an indicator to me that maybe he will go up to Song Dynasty. That of course will help him make up for some worker difference that he has accrued by now. He is a good, what's that, 30 workers behind? That's insane. That's actually very close to 100%. Not quite. Not quite. It's like 80% lead here. And a monastery also goes down for the French player. Very nice catch by Cass. We often see the French players kind of ignoring that aspect of the game a little bit, feeling secure in their early and mid-game strength and in their other economic boosts, kind of leaving the field for the other civs there. But yeah, proven wrong. Cass going for the monastery. Let's see what the relics are. 1, 2, 3 on the Chinese side and 2 on the French side. So Grubby, a little bit lucky with the RNG here. I mean, this one is technically in the middle, but it ended up on the Chinese side of the wall. In the meantime, he's mining gold with 1 million workers. Let's check just how many those really are. 15, even boosting the output. That's really great. It's going to give him a huge amount of gold to work with. Probably aim to, you know, sustain some Springald production. And we see them both wrapping up for a very, very long game, where I would give Cass some advantage. I mean, he seems in a better economic spot right now. If he wanted to, he could go Imperial right now and he'd be there much earlier than Grubby, and with a much stronger economy, able to back him up to make those constant units. But we also see both players. Here we see 10 and 3. They have like no army at all. This is pure greed. This is pure boom, as the AoE people would say. These deer again taken without the professional scouting upgrade. And some barracks now coming down. Grubby maybe feeling a little bit iffy about the situation. Being like, you making units. It's of course very hard to scout each other on this map once the walls in the middle have gone up. And so you have to always be a little bit wary. What's my opponent doing? Is he gearing up for a huge attack, or is he super greeding? Like, for example, Cass could be having a third or even a fourth TC here. I mean, it would be very, very greedy, but, you know, it just can't really scout for it right now. I mean, Grubby kind of could actually with the gate here. It's just hard to get a read on your opponent when there's only one way to get to him. There comes the knight now, a lancer, to maybe scout it out a little bit. And so Grubby maybe playing it a bit safer, getting at least 2 barracks, which of course he could boost and make them produce as if they were 6 barracks. So in that regard, feeling very safe. And Cass does the same now, throwing up some production buildings, a lot of barracks, some siege workshops, and he has switched the guild hall onto gold. That's gonna be a nice payoff later in the game. Yeah, there we go. Grubby now picking up the relics. Cass has already begun picking up his. And this is a little bit of a defensive spawn. The Mountain Pass map can have a spawn where you have 3 openings. One in the south, one in the center, and one a little bit up top. But this one doesn't have an opening in the south, and the middle opening is largely covered by a forest. And the northern opening is... well, it's this. So, pretty good defensive layout here. Let's see what the upgrades are like for these two players. Actually, Cass is already at 100 workers. Grubby only at 65. Actually, really far behind. He's gotten himself a blacksmith, getting melee armor right now against, of course, the 3 melee attack upgrades that the French get. Now Cass already opting for that sacred side as well, while Grubby is still picking up the relics. How many has he already got? By the way, he went Song Dynasty. Here's the Imperial Academy. He's got one in the bank, and yeah, there he goes, picking up another. He must have noticed this getting burned down for a solid minute or so though. They're not serene, however, and I'm not really seeing anything that can mess with them. Well, he's actually he's the one applying pressure here with some Springalds, and the single French Springald is not gonna do anything against the 4 clock tower Springalds here. The men-at-arms are, oh, this is Spearman, however, will push them back for now. What are the knights doing? They're now coming in. They're gonna catch this Imperial official straight away. Kill him. These workers are really exposed. They will not run away in time, I think. Even if they are garrisoned right now, he's gonna take heavy losses in the eco, and he's already so far behind. That's really, really rough. He's now taking his own sacred side as well to ensure that extra gold. Grubby loves his Wololos. This is for sure warding off the knights from pursuing a little bit. Very nice, cute little move. Now gonna deposit it in a monastery. And we see a Spearman Knight Springald force, a little bit of a weird mix-up here, especially since the Chinese players I know and have seen love the Palace Guard. The Palace Guard, of course, is a little bit weaker in combat stats than a normal man-at-arms, but it is faster, which enables you to use them a little bit to skirt around the map, do some harassment here and there, and if you just encounter some infantry to counter you, you can just pull them back, you can just run away, and you will not be caught and killed. In the meantime, we see Grubby now catching up in workers a little bit. 74 versus, actually he's not catching up, versus 108, while Cass goes up to Imperial right now with the College of Artillery, the usually preferred landmark. Can of course make the Royal Culverins out of there, a very truly scary weapon. Knights coming in again, now running into some Springalds, and these Springalds Actually, when they get healed by the workers, they're gonna just take these knights apart. But once Springald is exposed, worker not there in time, I think it's gonna go down. Yes, but so will the knights, I think. Oh, one more shot. Oh, it gets away. Palace guards hurrying behind. But Cass is now in Imperial Age, and I feel like Grubby is still a bit away. Bringing up the last relic. That's of course a nice little bonus there that he has. 3 relics versus 2. And if the game gets to that point, he could of course make some pagodas. Put the relics in there for even more. Do you see this mountain range here with like this single spot here? Oh, okay. The Springles come in. Kill that knight relentlessly. In the meantime, we have more upgrades for the French player. Melee armor and ranged armor. While the Chinese player is also getting melee armor and ranged armor here first. Interesting take on it. Maybe it would pay off to make a close to lumber camp here. It's a rather long walking distance. He has gotten the first fertilization upgrade and the wheelbarrow. 1 wood upgrade as well. Has he gotten the mining upgrade? Yes. Yes, Grubby is an upgrade enjoyer. French have gotten one of the wood upgrades and the lumberjack upgrade as well. And they are maxed out on food upgrades actually. Other than the one from the deer. And damn, Cass is looking scary. He's very close to max now. 120 workers. And then he will start his first attack, of course, without any cannons. It's gonna be pretty hard to bust open that stone wall that Grubby is constructing here, which will round out his stone walls across the map. Now each of the entrances is walled by a stone wall. It's not gonna be able to be burned down by just an infantry blob anymore, and these Springles aren't gonna do anything either. 10 Springles are already out, and actually Cass not even going for a royal cannon to bust down the walls, but just straight up going for a royal culverin. And another one. He's more worried about countering mass Springald from his opponent or other mass siege. Here we go. Spirit Way for Grubby. A little bit weird position in my opinion. Usually you want to build the Spirit Way out in the open so that you can get one half filled with stables like Grubby's doing right here, and the other half filled with archery ranges so that you can later make grenadiers and first make fire lancers out of it cheaper. Of course, if you do not know, the Spirit Way makes it so that dynasty units produced from buildings around the Spirit Way are 30% cheaper, which adds up, especially if it's a little bit more on the expensive side and if it's a gold costing unit. There the new lumber camp has been constructed. Let's check. As Cass maxes out with 125 workers, Grubby is still down on 130 pop with 140 workers. In the late game, his eco will of course be great, with the Imperial officials being able to boost either production or maybe the gather rate at a huge gold cropping, and with the taxes that come in continuously, which the French do not have access to, plus the pagodas that could potentially come in as well. But first Grubby has to actually get there. Now we see what happens when you do not have a cannon, which is this. I don't know what to tell you guys, but you have to hit the stone wall very often with a wooden arrow until it breaks down. Let me tell you. Alright, we see Grubby, who somehow has to find an answer to this. I mean, this is going to keep him protected for quite some time. After this, he still has to bust through the wooden wall as well and the Barbican of the Sun. But this is not going to keep him protected forever. And the second, like, 2 cannons show up here, things are going to be very different. Springald's now showing up for the Chinese player. They can shoot through the gates. I think there's an interesting mechanic, right? That Springalds can shoot through friendly gates, but only for friendly gates. So, yeah, see this? I don't think the French Springals can shoot back. And that's a huge advantage, obviously, with a stone wall. Actually, Cass building a keep right here to keep him safe, keep him defended. As these culverins now also open fire on the stone wall gate that is actually almost destroyed. Almost there. Grubby now also up to 125 workers, but 33 of them are idle right now, managing his eco, getting more of the upgrades, I presume, as he's now also in Imperial Age. He's got a second blacksmith and then never built anything out of it. And there's one more thing that you can do for your eco for the long game that both players, I think, have neglected to do. Where's Cass's market, neutral market? But did it not spawn? Does it not have one? Because I see Grubby's is here. Oh, Cass, unlucky with the map spawn. Grubby, however, has a neutral trade market here. If he would build one here, could trade across the whole length of the map and it would still be protected by his middle fortifications. However, for now, he has to focus on keeping this attack at bay. He's now getting his clock tower bombards, probably the most powerful siege weapon in the game. And yeah, it's gotta be hard to overcome. Also, already getting all the upgrades here. Really looking strong. Yeah, he needs the Yuan dynasty, however. I don't think he's gone up yet. No, I don't think he's gone up yet. Another keep here by the French player. He should probably build some production buildings around it to get that cheaper production, especially, you know, these should be like here, right? You should plan it out a little bit so that you're ready for the late game to produce those units 20 or if you get the upgrade, even 30% cheaper. And again, that makes a huge difference. I mean, you can do this around every keep for the French. You can only do it around the Spirit Way for the Chinese, so definitely worth. Some lances going around for Grubby here. Maybe trying to get some workers, running into a keep in the million springles and immediately getting eliminated. But he gets a little bit of a read on what his opponent's army is, and it's mostly spearmen, knights, with some men-at-arms and hand cannons mixed in there. And of course, the main bulk, the main firepower of the army comes from the 10 springles and the culverin. Kaz right now probably wished he had a cannon. Maybe he needs to kill off some workers so you can actually get a cannon in here, because otherwise it's gonna be nigh impossible to break through any kind of really stone fortifications. If you build a keep here, that's really gonna be the bane for the springles. They can of course shoot away at it from a distance, but you know, you can just out-repair the damage easily. And there's the Yuan dynasty now. The Yuan dynasty coming in with the Imperial Palace, which gives you the ability to see... oh, what's that? Wait, Grubby took the sacred site here? Grubby doing a little bit of trolling. Getting Cass the sacred site here for some moments. Getting those extra gold and denying it to Cass. Of course, at this moment in time, there's still plenty of just gold outcroppings around on the map. You don't need to be worried quite yet, but soon enough, these are gonna be running out, and you're gonna need an infinite gold source, such as trading the holy sites and the relics. And without a trade post here, I feel like the pressure is a little bit on Cass here to make it work. He has, of course, also got the guild hall. Let's take a quick look. Oh, but he's taking the gold out of it. That's not a huge amount saved up right there. He's getting more of the Imperial Tech upgrades and is hammering away at this palisade, but I just won't get you anywhere. And Grubby actually gets to keep exactly where I thought he would. And this feels a little bit lost to me. Like, it feels a little bit like it's like, okay, so I got my super eco up, I got the springled army everyone always gets, and what now, right? I mean, taking down this palisade here is nice, but that's not gonna win it the game. He's gonna have to figure out a way to overcome these fortifications. And actually his struggle against the fortifications of Grubby have given him enough time to also max out now, to even overtake Cass on workers. 140 workers is a ton. That might be so many that it's not even beneficial anymore, because you cannot field a large enough army. I mean, looking at this, that's not a big army. That's not a big army at all. And some Chinese knights once more reach the sacred site through the gate in the north and neutralize it. And Grubby only leaves one on the sacred site, puts one more in the corner so that he can later kill the priest that comes here to take it over again. Stone being mined here for Cass. Maybe build some more offensive keeps. These 3 keeps here kind of failing to keep him safe, actually, because he really needed this to be close as well. You know, he could solve this problem easier by making one bit of stone wall here, but instead he goes for another keep. Well, you gotta love the approach though. Keeps do be strong and impressive. We love the keeps. But I really feel like he just needs some cannons. And he just needs to delete some units. Like, let's be straight about this. Okay, it hurts. You don't really want to kill your own workers or your own units or something. But yeah, you just need something to tear this down right now. The only other... okay, maybe I'm wrong. This is enough to rebuild this army like 5 times over easily. Oh, I see what... He's gonna build a wonder? Is he... Yeah, he's buying stone. He's gonna build a wonder. He doesn't need to attack if he builds a wonder. Oh, I'm excited, boys. Where's the wonder gonna be? He's got the keeps up now. Network of keeps around here. He could also get some cannons in there later. And yes, there we go. He bought the stone he needs. And where? There it is. Notre Dame in all its glory. In a competitive match between two such great players. It is so seldom to see this. But here we see Cass going for the Notre Dame. And how many workers does he pull to build it? 25 workers are going to construct this wonder right now. Grubby in the meantime has started trading at least a little bit. But from which markets? Sir, where are you coming from? Who sent you? Oh, I seen the Viper do this. I think Grubby also saw the Viper do this. And he was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get 4 markets in the corner. This stone outcropping is actually almost done. And I'm a little bit disappointed to not see an Imperial official boost the drop-off here. Because, I mean, 20% of 8,000 gold, a good amount of gold. That's like 1,200 gold, no? As always with the live math, living dangerously. I hope 1,200 is right. But the Notre Dame is finishing up. And we see stone walls around it. It needs to lead one of the farms here, though, to complete the stone wall. And Notre Dame is done. 31 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay, so we know at 46 minutes... This wonder still needs to stand, and now Grubby knows as well. Grubby knows he needs to come and kill this. The pressure is now on him. He immediately moves out. There is, however, burning oil on this keep already. And usually a Chinese player, comfortable in his role as like kind of keep it defensive, being really, you know, a little bit of the campier player. Actually, he got the thigh upgrade here. I just want to point it out. Really nice as well. We see that not that often, actually. It takes a while to pay off because it's really expensive at 500 gold. Bombards coming out and taking the keep down as if it's not even freaking there. Those workers are not gonna be in time. The bombards are gonna finish it off, and there it goes down. Now there's palace guards all over the place in the eco of Cass. Killing workers, slaughtering them, running wild in the fields. And the knights cannot really stop them. The hand cannoneers can though. And this is not closed. This is weird to me. Why make this if you're not gonna finish it, sir? This is giving my OCD some troubles, sir. Please close the wall. I beg you, sir. I beg you. The bombards have taken down the keep, but it's gonna be hard to move into that army regardless. Grubby's trying to, you know, continue with some multi-pronged harass. The fire lancers are coming in, and if you've ever seen the fire lancers charge into a worker line, you know to be careful. You know to be careful. That worker line is gone, my friend. That worker line is gone a read on my brother. And there we go. Maybe we get to see it this game. This is looking like a ripe target, but not against the spearman. Not against the spearman, friend. Oh? Does he just want to run by onto the Notre Dame? Yeah, okay, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. But let me tell you, one charge in here, it's all gone. It's gone in 0.5 seconds. You'll never say French Knights are OP again after you saw violence run into workers, man. Alright, there we go. Another keep wants to be constructed, gets focused down by the bomber straight away. Grubby retreating back. This army looks scary as hell. We have 10 springholds, 2 cannons, 12 hand cannoneers, 7 knights, 2 culverins, 22 spearmen and 6 men-at-arms, which are actually not upgraded. And Grubby now committing harder to the traders and building a whole bunch of fire lancers. He of course has a lot of time. One of the problems associated with, you know, your opponent building a wonder is that people panic, right? They panic attack. They're like, oh no, I got killed right now. I need to rush. But no, you don't necessarily need to rush. You have 15 minutes. That's a long time. Like, okay, you shouldn't like completely chill, right? You need to have a plan, but you don't need to head-on rush into your opponent because he's gonna destroy you otherwise because you're gonna run out of time. No, you can take your time a little bit. You need to think, right? You need to think. You shouldn't act so rashly that you just didn't take the necessary time to think. There you go. Bombards now moving out with a ton of fire lancers, and now we can see it. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Fire lancers. Oh yeah. And now imagine that in here. They will of course not do as well against the pikemen, which will stop their charge. And this is looking like a strong battle for the French. However, with the 2 more bombards coming in the back, maybe he can win out the siege battle. Not with the spearmen connecting onto his bombards though. That's not gonna be good. That's not gonna, you know, end well for Grubby. He actually leaves them there at the front, retreats them in the last minute, and that was a clear loss for him. The backline of Cass still holding strong, and even his frontal army mostly undamaged. And I think what was missing here a little bit is just 2 nest of bees, 3 nest of bees, you know? Of course, Cass can focus them down, but they're gonna get some shots out, and they're gonna weaken all of this significantly, and especially the hand cannons. They don't really know a different counter. You need to have those mangonels or nest of bees, or maybe some light cav can do it cost efficiently, but then you need to wrap around them, which is not gonna be possible on the map. Just get a nest of bees, bro. Just get a nest of bees. I know Nicolas Cage doesn't approve, but you know, go for it. Alright, a Chinese keep constructed in the depth of the French base. Actually, this cavalry almost went down to the handguns in the keep, and now another Chinese charge out into the open. And this one might be more successful. The violence, of course, also does bonus damage to siege weaponry, so connecting with a decent amount of violence onto siege is very, very beneficial. And here, the bombards now take some shots at the siege in the back. Cavalry's, of course, still very strong against the bombers, and the front line for Grubby has evaporated one more time. He is retreating now. The Stonewall Tower is giving him some cavalry, some springald coverage, but that's not enough to swing this battle in his favor. More violence is coming out, and I could try and neutralize that sacred side. At this point, sadly, it's too late for him to maybe go for a sacred side victory before the Wonder Victory. In case you are confused by what I'm saying, a Wonder Victory takes 15 minutes from the completion of the Wonder onward. A Sacred Side victory only takes 10. So if you can use those 5 minutes to grab all the Sacred Sides, you will win before the Wonder Victory actually takes down. It can be a nice counter strategy on some maps. This map, to be quite frank, doesn't really lend itself to it, because if you get the Sacred Side, most of the time you might as well also kill this, because you've broken through the center. Work is being transferred around for Cass, who still sports a huge bank of food and wood. If we look at Grubby's perspective, he is struggling a little bit for resources, refilling his army right now, lined up some new units, and maybe this time he wants to go more into this open space. This small funnel here has been very rough on him, I feel like, and I think moving out into the open here is a better move, especially if he deletes this wall. Maybe he can build his own keep up here that could give him some coverage, make the enemy suffer a little bit as he moves in to engage him. And here he can also swing his cavalry around a little bit more, his fire lancers, and use them to greater effect. Potentially, we will have to wait and see. He has the trade up, so if you were ever able to, if you ever get to destroy this wonder in the back of the base, you probably won anyway. But this trade is gonna give him a lot of gold throughout this game, and it's never ever gonna run out. Did he build any pagodas? No, leaves all of them in the monastery. I'm not even sure he's in Ming Dynasty yet, to be honest. I don't see... Ah, there it is. There's the Great Wall Gatehouse. So he is in Ming Dynasty right now, meaning that he has a 10% health buff on all of his units. And... oh, there we go, boys. There we go. There are the Grenadiers. And can these Grenadiers help to destroy this Notre Dame building? This beautiful wonder here constructed by the French. The Grenadiers are of course completely crazy, and you should never discount them. 20 Grenadiers are gonna wipe all of... Actually, these spearmen are gonna disappear in like a second. Oh, I feel like this move by Grubby here, switching the composition up into the Grenadiers, might have been the right move. And especially considering his opponent's composition, so infantry heavy, especially the cheap spearmen to fill the ranks And considering also Cass's gold reserves are very low, so he would mostly rely on reproducing more spearmen. These grenadiers are gonna do wonders right now. The keep goes down in a millisecond against those Chinese bombards, as he's now moving on, building his own keeps to solidify this breach, get a little beachhead on his opponent's side of the map. Another keep goes down almost immediately, Violences running forward. I think he wants to swing them around into the back and into the Notre Dame, and now he's really biting himself for not completing this wall. Yeah, here we go. Grenadiers coming in. Spearmen disappearing. Bombards facing the French siege. But these bombards, of course, have some extra health buffs. But against the French Royal Culverins, it's gonna be hard regardless. Grenadiers have wiped out all the infantry here. Now they only need to get rid of the hand cannons, which have still survived in the back of Cass's army. This keep goes down. All the bombers have gone down for Grubby. But now if the fire lances connect onto this exposed siege here, the French siege might go down once and for all. And since Cass doesn't have gold to replenish it, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna really come back to bite him, because Grubby is gonna come up with some more bombers again, and there's not gonna be anything left for Cass with to work with. But the cannons actually escape, and many of the hand cannons are also still alive. These grenadiers need to be targeted better. They could have wiped out. There we go. Whoa! There we go! Oh man, grenadiers. You will love to love them, boys. Look, more grenadiers coming in now. More grenadiers coming in. Another bombard coming out now. And Grubby, someone needs to find a way to get to this Notre Dame. There's 5 minutes left on the clock for him. Of course, now you feel the pressure. Now you really gotta think, oh man, I really gotta break through, like now. The Notre Dame, of course, looks massive, and you would think and wonder it takes forever to take down. But if a lot of bombards shoot at it, it actually goes down fairly quickly. So you don't have to be worried that, you know, you're gonna spend 5 minutes destroying it, as long as you have some siege, that is. As long as you have some siege. Grubby preparing his new forces, as Cass is actually not maxing out again. He's really struggling there, down to 60 workers as well. Grubby still up at 115, still has a healthy bank, producing its cost. Oh no! Oh no, the war crimes. Oh no. Grubby just offensively building keeps in his opponent's base all over the place. Another one going up here in the north as the bombers rip through Cass's production. And now Grubby is probably going to position to break through the wall on the north side. Cass wants to bring up a last-ditch effort, builds another keep, brings his springles and cannons and culverins in place together with his infantry. And Grubby is also not full maxed again yet, but still up in population compared to Cass. This is, however, mostly due to the workers. As we see, Cass actually has a bigger army population right now. We'll have to see whether this last-ditch effort can defend the Wonder. There's also a lot of workers here, potentially to soak damage, but they're not gonna soak any damage at all against the Grenadiers. They're just gonna disappear immediately, maybe eating one volley or half a volley. And Grubby is coming up with some more Lancers. Not of course perfect against the Spearmen, but I guess he expects the Spearmen to just die against the Grenadiers anyway. And looks like oh no! Oh no! Actually, the Light Horsemen connect. How are they doing? Oh my God! Look at that! Look at that! The Grenadiers are insane! They're insane! Hand cannons still doing some damage, but immediately disappearing as well. The Light Horsemen, of course, do a good amount of damage once they're up here in front, but the French army just disappeared in front of these Grenadiers and the bombards. Now also connecting onto the French siege, which this time around just wasn't numerous enough anymore. It wasn't one of those engages with 10 springles, 3 culverins against 4 bombards. No, no. This time the number of bombards actually matched the French siege, and Cass calls it. Cass calls it. He doesn't even have to let the Wonder go down. Wow. Wow. GG, well played to both players. And we will see each other next time for another cast. Bye bye.